そのまま聞き届けたみんなの願いは私が守る。吹き荒ぐ表彰だ。死のない絶望者。大河の競争曲、破滅を食い止めてみせましょう。その思い聞き届けたみんなの願いは私が守る。みんなは守る。必ず世界を守り抜きましょう。お主と人の世をつなぐ赤い糸の長さは千年万里に匹敵するじゃろう。そのまま聞き届けたみんなの願いは私これで絶縁だ。運命巧妙を彼はしません。世界愛が物は夜に私が守りましょう。こうすれば楽になるだろう。心のままに。その思い聞き届けた破滅を食い止めてみせましょう。恋せよ心のままに。みんなの願いは私が守る。しまった。世界愛がしまった。私が守りましょう。世界愛がいくよ。みんなは守る。 私が守りましょう。すま世界愛すま恋せよ心のままに。必ず世界を守り抜きましょう。私が守れ。私が守りましょう。
私の意志、すなわち海の意志だ。
教えを解かれよ。ついに俺様の出番だぜ。拙者の体より貴重なものは良いでござる。
先に戦は終わらぬ。
Taira Camp. Young Master, I've come here today because I still want to discuss the latest decree with you, I think. Senko, how many times has it been now? I thought we could talk about anything, and that you would support all my decisions. That's true, my lord. I used to believe every decision you made was right, worthy of my wholehearted trust and loyalty. And now you've changed? No, my lord. It's you who've changed. After that wedding, the three major clans rose up against Taira. Even with troops from Yamatai, we're still short on provisions and military funds. This campaign is lasting much longer than we expected, my lord. Now the strength of the people in Taira's territory has been squeezed to the limit. I fear if this continues, one day we'll be defeated without even fighting. Defeated without a fight? Now even what you're saying is starting to sound ridiculous. Ever since they recklessly challenged me, Taira has yet to suffer a single defeat. Under Futsunomitama, within the reach of Chrono Jade, no one can surpass us and our army. It's just a bit of hardship, Senko. Just a bit of hardship. You're the one who went to Yamatai with me. Could there be any days darker than those spent in Demon's Tomb, never seeing the light of day? Victory will ultimately be ours. But that's us. Taira has indeed never tasted defeat to this day, but that's because you willed both Chrono Jade and Futsunomitama to divine artifacts. One person can stand against 10,000 troops. However, it's still too much of a stretch for a single clan to take on the other three major clans. Haven't you used Chrono Jade again and again to seek opportunities in battle, bringing back those lives that should have been lost? Everything is worn down by the passage of time. Nothing comes without a price. The commoners within a Taira land should not have to endure hardships that were never meant for them, simply because they follow their lord. Within the dual arena of Yamatai, our rival is steadily growing stronger, and the situation before us is becoming clearer. We know what we are fighting for. And now, I never knew you were such an indecisive person, Senko. You used to call this foresight. Young master, you once said this was the quality you needed, something that filled a part of your emptiness. Senko gazed at Taira no Masakado, who sat at the head seat. They grew up together from childhood, and whenever Taira no Masakado marched to war, His presence was never absent by his side. Will the hero of your youth change once you become an adult? The look in those familiar eyes made him feel so strange and uneasy, even disappointed. You're just worried that after I take this position, I'll lose my so-called true self. Someday, I'll become a muddle-headed ruler like the king of Yamatai. Oh, whoa. Yeah, he is turning. Senko looked at him with eyes full of surprise and hope. He never thought Taira no Masakado would become someone like the king of Yamatai, but now Taira no Masakado could understand his concerns, and that actually surprised him. But I haven't. I don't chase fame or fortune, money, jewels, power, status. Those aren't what I seek. Just like before, Senko. That was never something I cared about. I thought you were the one who understood me best. Has the battle on the battlefield no longer been able to make your blood boil? All of this is so that, in the end, we can see the tomorrow that belongs to the realm of Tokoro. As long as I conquer the lands of the other 3 great clans and make all who oppose me submit, nothing will stand in the way of change again. And now, everything we've experienced is nothing but necessary sacrifice. Senko, you can understand that, can't you? We are people unafraid of sacrifice. As Taira no Masakado spoke, the light in Senko's eyes gradually faded. He didn't understand. In the end, they still walked a path completely different from what they had hoped for. Perhaps from the moment that wedding was stained with blood, everything became irreversible. If everyone here were truly equal, you will listen to what I have to say. No, not just me. You will listen to many people, instead of sentencing them to death. We could have made it without sacrificing anything, my lord. At that wedding, there were many people who didn't have to die. So now you've come to argue with me about who was right or wrong that day? Shouldn't it be? This is where it all began. The exceptionally gifted young Onmyoji and the great fox yokai were married, and the 4 great clans forged the realm of Tokoro, packed at the wedding. I didn't know that guy she was marrying was a fox. I missed that somewhere as I was reading during the other event. But anyway, we know that that is a shield fragment or whatever. This is the result of the Taira under the leadership of Taira no Masakado, driving the effort forward. Returning from Yamatai, Taira no Masakado became the center of attention in Heian-kyo. This is not only because he became the hero who liberated Yamatai and brought lasting peace to Heian-kyo, but also because he is no longer just a young general. Taira no Masakado has become the young new king of Yamatai. Now, behind the Taira he leads, stands the entire nation of Yamatai. The army that once attacked Heian-kyo now answers only to him. The vow Taira no Masakado once made about the realm of Tokoro now seems almost within reach. The four great clans were never all friendly with the yokai, and here have always been hidden currents between the clans. While it can't be said that an accident was inevitable, it wasn't impossible either. A murder occurred on the wedding day, and the pact was already as good as a scrap of paper before it was even signed. If only the situation had been temporarily contained at the time. I did control the situation. You killed everyone you thought should be held responsible, and then tore up the realm of Tokoyo agreement that was about to be signed. Whether it's the Kamo clan, the Minamoto clan, or the Fujiwara clan, or perhaps it was a visitor from the yokai tribe. Countless people died beneath the blade of Futsunomitama. That's because they all have their own hidden agendas. Senko, I thought we'd already discussed all of this. I received a secret letter. This is a banquet set up to hunt down the Taira clan. Did you believe it? If I had truly believed everything written in the secret letter, no one from the Fujiwara clan would have died. Yes, the secret letter came from the Fujiwara clan. The Onmyoji from the Fujiwara clan, Ashiotomen, has always been skilled at sowing discord. That doesn't matter. Whether I believe what's written in the letter or not, it will end up becoming true. I can't just sit by and watch all this happen. Everyone is holed up in their own private rooms, suspicious of each other. At the slightest sign of trouble, they can't wait to pounce and tear off a piece of profit for themselves. And this is right when we're about to sign the Alliance Pact. Taira no Masakado's laughter sounded utterly insane. Senko couldn't tell whether he had unleashed a massacre in the midst of such madness, or if he was simply so disappointed in these four great clans that he decided to stir the waters even more. Rather than letting them muddy the waters even further, it's better to just drain the swamp entirely. Ooh, drain the swamp. The scene from that wedding day is still vivid in my mind. Taira no Masakado, holding Futsunomitama, suddenly erupted at the ceremony, killing several people in succession. He then strode up to the altar and tore up the pact that was about to be signed in front of everyone. Blood stained the long steps of the wedding, and the terrified guests were left frozen in shock. These people stood in their way. If this plot failed, there will always be another. As long as they haven't achieved their goal, the scheming will never end, because they are still alive, and the minds of the living never stop thinking. I'm simply cutting off the crisis at its source. Besides, this serves as a warning. Anyone with hidden motives who endangers the realm of Tokoyo will meet the same fate as them. Their blood will nourish Futsunomitama and stain the road ahead of us red. Are you going to blame me for this? Are you going to judge me for this? He let out a cold laugh. Will you betray me for this? My lord, my family has served the Taira clan for generations. I can't blame you. I have no right to judge you. And of course, I will never betray you. But with all due respect, I truly can't agree with what you're doing now. I can't keep watching you walk down the wrong path while I remain the non-accomplice. I beg you. I don't want to listen anymore. Simple. You know the rules. This is an order to march. Refusing it means you will become a deserter. In my army, there are always only two choices: surrender or die. I thought we were different. I used to think so too. But in the end, you still have to choose a side, don't you? Choose me or someone else. If that's the case, I would rather choose death. Wow. Taira no Masakado suddenly stood up, his eyes filled with disbelief, his pupils quivered, as if something was violently tearing at his spirit. For a split second, Senko thought he saw the Taira no Masakado of the past. Why? If my death can bring you back to your senses, then that would be a blessing. And if even this can't awaken you, then there's no reason for my life to continue here. The boy struggled for a moment within his grown body, but in the end, he fell silent once more. Taira no Masakado slowly sat down, his face regained that unshakable indifference. If that's what you want, I'll grant your request. Pick up your weapon. Now it's our turn to stand on opposite sides of the dueling ground. And you won't lose, will you? He seemed to see Taira no Masakado's pupils tremble for a moment. You asked a foolish question. They stepped into the Taira training grounds. Beneath the midnight stars and moon, the battle ended swiftly and in utter silence. After all, who could possibly defeat General Sun Hunters single-handedly these days? When Fusunomitama was pressed to his throat, Senko raised his head to look at his childhood companion, his lord for half a lifetime. Taira no Masakado did not kill his opponent outright, as if still waiting for Senko to change his mind. But this is the greatest honor he could receive. I sincerely hope that your original vision will be fulfilled in the end. His neck grazed the blade of Fusunomitama, and blood stained the inscriptions on his spear. Taira no Masakado buried him in the clan cemetery, and a line of small characters were engraved on the tombstone. Bear witness. Wow. That was harsh. Let's see, can I get a team? Because all my gunners in the daytime, that stuff is hard.
世の安寧を乱すものよ。
If I can at least get 4 people.
私のもと
We finna go with just 4. Yeah, we finna roll just like that.
みんなの願いが私が守る。これで絶縁だ。
無駄だ。無駄だ。無駄だ。
聞き届けて。我に通じる。恋せよ。心のままに。
虫の毒お味はいかが無駄だ無駄だ無駄だ
恋せよ心のままに
無駄だ無駄だ無駄だ
みんなは守る 乱暴なこと無駄だ。みんなの願いは私が守る。
無駄だ。
このランスに新たなる恐れ。
決めたから初めて。あれ？もう収録時間？その思い聞き届けた。
てめえ三味線にしてやろうか。
みんなの願いは私が守る。
大物てめえ三味線にしてやろうか。
みんなは守る。
必ず世界を守り抜きましょう。三味線にしてやろうか。
その思い聞き届けた。
私が守りましょう。この大物てめえ三味線にしてやろうか。運命と峠を張ればしません。世界愛を
みんなの願いは私が
て
守る。
めえ三味線にしてやろうか。
みんなは守る。
私が守りましょう。必ず世界を守り抜きましょう。てめえ三味線にしてやろうか。
その思い聞き届けた。
この
私の歌を聴くのは
今日の狩りを始めよ
その思い聞き届けた。
そんなのじゃダメだね。
みんなの願いは私が守る。
そんなのじゃダメだね。
破滅を食い止めてみせましょう。
その思い聞き届けた。
私が守りましょう。
そんなのじゃダメだね。そんなのじゃダメだね。
世界愛を必ず世界を守り抜きましょう。
私が守る。
私が守りましょう。
そんなのじゃダメ。そんなのじゃダメだね。
世界愛を破滅を食い止めてみせましょう。私 私が守りましょう。
その思い聞き届けた。
世界
こんなのじゃダメよ。
必ず世界を守り抜きましょう。闇を退け。
今日の狩りを始
This game is a joke. I mean, really? You gonna give me Shishio? Oh my goodness, man. This game is a joke. What the heck is this? Really? Really, y'all? I done paid that. I paid that extra freaking J for this. Really, Onmyoji? Really? Really? That's sad. That's sad.
Really? They gonna give me that? Really? Oh my god, that was like my last chance at getting something good. I'm gonna feed this back to the shrine. Don't give me some freaking shit. I better give my other account better Shikigamis. It always gives them the freaking Shikigami that I'm looking for to complete my freaking collection. We gonna feed this to the freaking shrine. I don't want this. Yeah, take that off. Oh, don't feed that one. Feed this one. I don't want to feed that back to the shrine. I don't want it. I already got it. Really? Really? See, I got all of these. Okay. I got most of the recolors. But I do want to get another Dotama. That's not going on, just feed all of this. Hope I have enough. Okay, so let's just get that. Heal somebody up with it since it didn't give me what I wanted. That's what I want. No. No. Yes. No. And that's it. Now.
Taira residence. Child, I hope you'll reconsider what we've said. Your mother and I, we're not trying to defend your uncle, but he is still your blood relative. What you do now is very different from your youth. There were many dissenting voices within the Taira clan, and now you've silenced them all. even single. But in this impartial cleansing, does it also include your own family? What I wish to see is a realm of Takoi, where no one is judged by status. If I make an exception for one, wouldn't I be the first to betray the very principles I believe in? The usurper god of Yamatai fell by my hand for this very reason. I'll take this as a lesson and never repeat the same mistake. You've truly changed a lot since you returned from Yamatai. Sometimes I wonder, what did that land really give you? You're now half divine, holding two sacred treasures. There's nothing in this world that can shake your power. Now you also wonder if I should try tasting feelings. Father, I haven't sentenced Uncle to death. I've confined him to his room so he can no longer interfere with the future of the Taira. It's because everything he says is just useless noise. I simply block out the noise. Does that really count as a harsh punishment? He's already tried to end his own life several times. That's his own problem. There will always be people who can't bear the darkness before dawn and collapse on their own. I regret that he's so afraid to face the first ray of the rising sun. But I'm afraid I can't do anything more for him. You and Mother don't need to persuade me about this anymore. I'll make sure to have him strictly guarded, so he absolutely won't go down the path of self-destruction. Even though sometimes I also feel that it's a kind of relief. What did you say? No problem. When you have time, come and visit your sister. She's still very young. You're her brother. You should love her. I see. I'll visit her when I have time. Taira no Masakado's uncle eventually exhausted his life in years of resentment and frustration. Although Taira no Masakado never truly punished him, it was clear that he died because he tried to stop Masakado and his great ambitions. Rumors spread everywhere, and they called Taira no Masakado a kinslave. And he didn't care. His relatives couldn't stand with him, and he regretted that. Before his grand cause, the one who died was just someone insignificant. However, whenever his increasingly silent parents made a rare request, Taira no Masakado would still obey. He had no choice but to go and see the tiny infant still lying in the cradle. And that has to be Himiko? Because I saw Himiko in the arms of Otakuro. And he was left at a temple. I think that's how that went. Sister, Everett. He looked at the child in the cradle, so small that it was hard to imagine every life begins as such a fragile bundle of flesh and blood. She was so frail, yet so full of life. She hadn't yet been shaped by anything, and so she was filled with endless possibilities. Perhaps you could become the heir to my realm of Tokoyo. Years from now, you will grow into someone truly gifted. You and I are bound by blood, with no suspicion or division between us. You will stand by my side. But his whisper was suddenly interrupted. Taira no Masakado gazed at the child. She suddenly woke up and quietly looked back at him with her big, bright eyes, as if she could understand what he was saying. A glimmer of clarity suddenly welled up in his heart. No, maybe it's just fine if you don't become an enemy. You might achieve great things, or you might not. Because I haven't asked you what you truly want yet. But no matter what, before that, you need to grow up safely. I hope you can grow up safely. No matter what, you must grow up to the day when you can make your own choice. I'll listen to you. Suddenly, a memory from years ago flashed through Taira Masakado's mind. That afternoon when he stood on the festival street, scattering beans to the children. Demons out, fortune in. He wanted to protect them, that's why he founded the realm of the cold. Demons out, fortune in. He began to sing a lullaby his parents used to sing to him as a child. As he sang, the baby in the cradle slowly closed their eyes. Once upon a time, Taira Masakado was also a child in a cradle like this. How incredible. It sounds like something that could only happen in a story. But which feels more real, the things that happened back then, or what's happening now? I've been sitting here for too long. He stood up, took one last look at the cradle that seemed especially lonely in the empty residence, and turned to leave. After Taira no Masakado slew the head of the Minamoto clan, Minamoto no Myoji emerged from seclusion, wielding the life-giving blade. With the life-giving blade in hand, Yukigozan was strong enough to face Taira no Masakado in battle. For the Taira, exalted by endless warfare, were already hollowed out within. If not for Taira no Masakado being an army unto himself, they could never have held out until now. The tide of battle reversed almost instantly, and the Taira were routed for a mile. Taira camp. Taira no Masakado sat alone in the tent, the inn, the faint lamplight illuminating half of its face. Two voices toward each other in his mind, leaving his thoughts muddled and confused. Which Taira no Masakado is waking up today? You still joke with me. It seems to be the original. After leaving Yamata, your blood was no longer the same as before. Another force lies dormant in your blood, gradually growing stronger over time. His power has corrupted my mind, revealing only the parts he needs. The tyrant in the eyes of the world is indeed me. Those thoughts should have been restrained by reason and emotion, but now it's becoming harder and harder. This is truly a long-awaited, heartfelt conversation. The part of you tainted by Okunishi's power will not speak to me. Even I am nothing more than a tool in his hands. Sometimes I think the reason I've come this far is because I let my guard down around you. My corrupted divine artifact is not a true companion to a warrior. You want me to go to extremes to satisfy your thirst for blood. And you once knew exactly what you wanted to do, so you ignored my demands. After all, I am nothing but a lifeless object. How can blades and spears determine the will of those who wield them, unless the warrior is weak enough or mad enough? Taira is in full retreat, and tomorrow the entire army will withdraw toward the coast near Natsubuka. The battle is about to end, and defeat is almost inevitable, because you wish for it as well. Much of the power of Taira has been dispersed by you in various ways. You have returned their freedom to them, because I promised them freedom at first, but later broke my word. As for now, I've already lost the ability to fulfill my promise. What will you do next? surrender to the Minamoto priestess. Before that, of course, I have to fight her once more. Who could have imagined that someone you met only once in your youth would become your life or death rival when you meet again? But you don't regret it either. Because of a warrior, having such an opponent is a blessing. But I'm afraid I have to entrust her with the most difficult problem right now. Outside the tent came the sound of a report, and Taira Masakado permitted the visitor to enter. Mamoru walked in. After Senko's death, he became even more silent. He didn't try to persuade Taira Masakado like Senko did, nor did he defy his orders. Now he is the Udon wall of the Taira, guarding their final line of defense. He still holds fast to his original promise. He hopes that more people can live because of him. Mamoru, at your service. The secret summons is to entrust you with a task. The unexpectedly calm tone of the commander made Mamoru feel something. He looked up into Taira Masakado's eyes, but what surfaced in his mind was the first time he met him in Yamatai. You should know I have a younger sister who is still in England. Yes, my lord. The head of the Taira family and his wife both perished in a previous battle. The young lady in swaddling clothes has lost her parents, and now the Taira forces have been utterly defeated. Perhaps in some future turmoil, her fragile life may also be lost. I hope you can take her, along with the soldiers under your command. Go together to the land of Yamatai. My lord, the battle is at its most critical moment. I cannot. Is this an order? Now you are the only one I trust. I believe in the iron walls of Taira, and that they will surely protect the descendant of Taira. Let this child grow up safely. Descendant? My lord, the battle is not yet hopeless. No, it must end. I regret that I can only choose the most decisive way, because our true enemy is far stronger than we imagined. Return to Yamatai. If all the promises I made to you back then, few have been fulfilled. But perhaps there is still a chance. An opportunity? My lord, do you mean? Taira Masakado showed a moment of doubt. He seemed to be vaguely resisting something that no one else could see. The look on Taira Masakado's face once again made Mamoru feel unfamiliar. The boy he once knew was gone, replaced by the mad that the world knew all too well. And when he spoke again, there was a subtle change in his tone. For Taira's revenge, he raised the corner of his mouth in mockery, a madness like a trapped beast flickering in his eyes. This child will inherit my will and become the queen of Yamatai. Someday in the future, take revenge for me on Heian-kyo. So, in that other event that debuted Otakuro, that is Himiko as the infant. So we already do that. Oh my goodness, I got so many stories. Taira Masakado knew he was already dead. This statement is a bit contradictory. It means what he faces still isn't true death. But his body had indeed been cut into 6 pieces by a mysterious figure and brought back to the Yamatai duel agreement. This is where Taira Masakado defeated the usurper god of Kuryushi. Several years ago, Yamatai duel agreement. Come! With a loud shout from Taira Masakado, the distant sky began to tremble. Ufunamitama, which had been locked away and displayed as an exhibit by the king of Yamatai, streaked across the sky, seeking the only master it would acknowledge. He fell into Taira no Masakado's hand, carving a deep, bloody gash across his palm. The wilder's fresh blood once again ignited the livid, glowing crimson inscriptions along the spear's shaft. You, how could this be? It seems you don't know enough about this spear. All these days you've kept it in your possession. Have you only admired its appearance? Whether it's Mitama or this nation built upon the dueling grounds, leaving them in your hands is a complete waste. At this point, it's best to return it to a more worthy master. The sacred artifact returns to its place, and the king of Yamatai appears before Taira no Masakado as helpless as a child. This doesn't feel like a challenge from the low to the high, nor even like the conclusion to a world-shaking upheaval. It's not difficult enough, not glorious enough. Taira no Masakado beheaded the king of Yamatai, and a wave of cheers and screams swept through the arena. Taira no Masakado! Taira no Masakado! The slaves shouted his name as they rushed into the arena, their physical shackles all broken, and the chains on their spirits gone as well. The original order was overturned in an instant, as a new king they believed in led the way for all the changes to come. The former ruler's attendant stepped forward at this moment. Taira no Masakado, while like a wrathful deity, held his former master's head in one hand, and the blood-soaked Mitama in the other. Yet there was not a trace of fear or surprise in his eyes. Oh my god, I'm so sick of saying this man long freaking name. Ugh. Let me just say Masakado. But in Japanese, you gotta say the whole freaking thing. Lord Taira no Masakado, from this day forward, you are the new ruler of Yamatai. I will offer you my life and loyalty. Under the gaze and the god of Kurinishi, the sun and moon of Yamatai will bestow their blessing upon you. You will become the new master of this arena, receiving the coronation of a god. What if I want more than just? The sky suddenly darkened. Are we gonna get this as a Shikigami? It looks like maybe that's coming one day, I don't know. In that instant, all sounds, the attendants before his eyes, and even those locked in battle in the distance, vanished from existence. In the pitch-black sky, the usurper god slowly revealed its form. The multi-armed colossus looked down upon Taira no Masakado. The difference between them was immense, and the divine pressure descended, yet Taira no Masakado remained unmoved. Kill it, Taira no Masakado, kill it. The chance to slay a god is right before my eyes. The whispers of Mitama echoed in Taira no Masakado's mind. The sinister divine weapon trembled with excitement, eager to be unleashed in a battle truly worthy of its power. Taira no Masakado, you followed my game rules, so you should know you've received the highest reward for the winning. Now that you are the ruler of Yamatai, with a single command you can turn slaves into aristocrats, and aristocrats into slaves. You can return to your Heian Kyo, and in the Yamatai under your rule. I suppose you won't send your armies to your capital again. Is there anything else you desire? Kill them. No, it's not time for the curtain to fall yet. I said before, I don't crave the peak of worldly power. I just want to put an end to all suffering. The true source of Yamatai's suffering isn't that weak former ruler. It's you, Akuninushi. You're nothing but a usurper god. What does that word even mean? Since the rule here is that the winner of the duel arena can take everything from the loser, then I challenge you, Akuninushi. Do you dare face me in battle? The usurper god accepted this mortal challenge, fell into the duel arena, and transformed into a multi-armed demon. The god who wished to deliver judgment toward the earth apart, forming scattered islands. Only the duel arena remains suspended in the sky like a solitary fortress. No one has ever provoked a god like this before, though nobody knows what will happen in the end. But at its core, this is still a battle in the duel arena, no matter who the opponent is. There's nothing more than killing and surviving. You may possess the power of full control, but just talking on paper won't help in a real fight. Agile Ant. He call it Taira no Masakado Ant. All of Taira no Masakado's wounds seem to only excite him. He is tireless. He will not stop. He evolved in the midst of battle. No. At last, his blade managed to leave the first wound on the guard. The moment Fusunami Tama tasted divine blood, the blood-red inscriptions on the spirit blazed with light. It seemed to swallow a portion of the usurper god's divinity, then transferred it to its master. To ensure this dual arena remains a shell you can grasp in your hand, you do not allow anything to happen here that goes beyond the rules. That includes your authority as well, Akuninushi. In a situation like this, even if you are a god, what advantage do you have over me? And if not, the young hostage, the general, the future youngest head of the Taira clan, with blood splattered across his face, burst out in a hearty laughter. The inscrutable eyes of the usurper god gazed at him calmly and without resentment. The merciless sun and moon of Yamatai looked down upon the madness of this young man. It's truly surprising that you've managed to reach this level. If the gap between mortals and gods could be bridged so easily, then gods would no longer be gods. This is destined to be a grueling battle. I love you now. The sun and moon no longer alternate. In the dual arena, there is no distinction between day and night, and no one knows how long they have been fighting. Humans ultimately have their limits, and even the patience of gods run out. There you go. Taira no Masakado was already covered in wounds, yet he continued to attack Akuninushi tirelessly. At last, Akuninushi reached out and deftly blocked Taira no Masakado's full force strike with Fusunami Tama, causing Fusunami Tama to fall from his hand. Uh-oh. And he does not have only one pair of arms. On your own, you can't even get close to me. Seemingly tired of playing games with mortals, he restrained Taira no Masakado in his grasp. Under immense pressure, blood burst from his 7 orifices. Ooh, all the holes. The precious life of a human flows out of Taira no Masakado's body with the blood. Be grateful to the point of tears, for this is the closest you'll ever be to the divine. Your victory is practically within reach, yet you will never truly have the chance to grasp it. Your eye. The sun and moon of Yamatai, the artifact you use to manipulate time, the last authority that still works in the dual arena. You realized it too late. That may not necessarily be true. His body, nearly drained of all life, suddenly burst forth with miraculous power once again. The blood that had left the body gathered and bound in ice, astonishingly forming the shape of his tongue. At the moment, Taira no Masakado spat blood from his mouth. The bloodied spear pierced straight into the usurper god's eye socket. The tip of the spear stirred in the god's eyes, and divine blood fell to the earth like burning tears. The sun and moon above the duel arena suddenly went dark, in darkness closer to mortal than ever. Taira no Masakado gouged out his eye. Did you know? Gods do not die. I happen to know another thing. There are things in this world far more painful than death, and you deserve your punishment. 6 days and 6 nights, they love that number 6, away like grains of sand through an hourglass. The blood of gods and men overflowed from the celestial battleground, staining the land of Yamatai red. When the sky darkened and clouds finally dispersed, the one who emerged from the endless duel arena was Taira no Masakado. He raised Fusano Mitama high, proclaiming his victory. With 6 shadow claws, I seal the Kunimushi, the usurper god, forever. This duel arena he forged would become his eternal tomb. I gouged out the usurper god's eyes and returned Yamatai's sky to the true sun and moon. From that day on, Yamatai would have only one sun forever. People cheered as they passed through the corridor connecting the duel arena to the true land of Yamatai, embracing their long-lost homeland once again. No one noticed that the new leader who brought all this to them had quietly lost a shadow beneath his feet. Taira no Masakado became a man without a shadow. Where did his shadow go?
Dang, the shadow then became another being.
Years later, at the Yamatai duel arena, 1, 2, 3, 6. The 6 shadow clones of the Taira no Masakado now corresponded 1-to-1 with his 6 body parts. In this way, with the addition of the formation, it should be possible to completely break the seal he once placed on the Kunimushi.
So that's what a shield domin was doing. He trying to collect all of that just to unseal the deity he served. But isn't a shield domin also a fragment? I don't know, I done got confused.
When these separated souls return to their place, they will meet the destined grand finale together with their bodies. A shield domin chanted an incantation, and the ominous aura unique to Dark Onmyoji field spread throughout the densely silent duel arena. The 6 body parts of Taira no Masakado hung on 6 execution scaffolds in the duel arena, gradually shrouded by the black mist of sorcery. 6 shadowy figures slowly emerged, flowing toward their origin. Wait, she's... At that moment, the head of the Taira no Masakado, which hung high on the execution scaffold, suddenly lifted and smiled eerily. The already deranged king watched the shield domin. He was still chanting incantations, with a smile, until shock gradually robbed him of his voice. Everyone thought he was already dead. No one cared where he finally fell, and no one collected his remains. Only those with ulterior motives would bring him back to the duel arena in the sky above Yamatai. And at that moment, he actually opened his eyes. Why? The seal hasn't been broken. Instead, it's been reinforced. This shouldn't be. All these avatars should have returned to the shard of his body. Why are they still here? Why? On the shell whose blood had already run dry, specks of spiritual light suddenly began to gather. They gathered together, floating above the dual arena. In the end, he merged with those 6 shadows, becoming a complete apparition of Taira no Masakado. Since I am a mortal, it is impossible for me to live forever. It is unwise for a mortal to try to outlast the gods. Therefore, this seal cannot possibly persist based on my existence alone. In fact, I made my death the final link in the seal. After I die, my soul will not enter karma, but will remain in this dual arena forever.
Man, you curse yourself.
I will fight the usurper god forever.
Man, Taira, really? Come on, man.
To the end of time.
Oh my goodness, it's like the daughter code from Inuyasha forever fighting inside the jewel of 4 souls or whatever. Like, come on, man, you just doomed your freaking self. Was it that serious?
To become an eternal wandering soul, that's quite an admirable resolve. I didn't expect you to still have the composure to calculate all.
This man just created his own Valhalla. I'm done.
But nothing in this world is truly eternal. Just like the vows you once made, didn't you end up forgetting them in the end? Your shadow was swallowed by Okurinushi the moment you left the dual arena. Even if you manage to preserve this pitiful bit of soul, it will eventually be worn away too. As the seal loosens, Okurinushi will gradually recover part of his power and authority. By then, how much sanity will you have left to resist him? In a little while, the true Taira no Masakado will die forever. You will no longer be yourself. I suppose this feeling isn't unfamiliar to you, is it? To blame everything on the usurper god I've already sealed in the arena would be rather irresponsible, wouldn't it? Besides, am I really the kind of guy who can be manipulated so easily? Even if the opponent is a god, that may not be the case. If I had never had such thoughts, there would be nothing for him to incite with it. Essentially, I'm fighting against another self that I've deliberately separated from him. Yet, no matter which version of me it is, it's still me. I'm the one who made those decisions, and those blood debts can only be counted on my own head. For most people, their other self is rarely a figure who is dictator. Oh my god. Really? Onmyoji? Really? Dictatorial? For most people, their other self is rarely a figure who is dictatorial. I've never seen dictator with the Oreo added to it. Bloodthirsty, loves conflict, and cold with no mercy. In a way, you really are the perfect candidate to be provoked. It's no surprise that he chose you, and the results are astonishing. I admit I was indeed born with a certain madness. In the bloodline of the entire Haida clan, there runs a legacy of stubbornness, as those before us have said. This stubbornness can lead one to success, or it can plunge one into the abyss. But it's precisely because of this stubbornness that, under the relentless influence of the usurper god, I'm still able to preserve a part of myself. It's hard to imagine that one day arrogance could become a beneficial trait. You tell me. You truly are an admirable opponent, Taira no Masakado. I don't know how much longer you can hold on here. Since our goals are at odds, I won't wish for you to last any longer. But you will become an important nourishment for Okuninushi's recovery. Your name will be recorded in history, and we will erect a monument to your contribution in our own way.
So is a Shieldolman like a sorcerer that serves a Kuninushi and he wants him to like be unsealed? And so is a Shia like or is a Shia like an avatar of the Kuninushi? Like a Kuninushi like have another version of himself or created him? What is a Shia doing this for? I mean, because I've been reading the story, but you know how Onmyoji would drag out a story. I mean, they would drag out a story till you might have to reread because I'm not seeing the point here. Like, I don't get why Ashia is doing all of this. Is he like a fragment of a Kuninushi or what? Like, I'm trying to see what is the motive, or you just want to do this? Because once a Kuninushi is unsealed, it's like, what's stopping him from just consuming a shield? You know, because he already thinks of everybody as ants.
I'm afraid you won't live to see that day. I should be going now. May you enjoy your battle. The Onmyoji, who looked exactly like a Shieldolman, vanished from the dueling ground. The phantom of Taira Masakado gazed down at the dueling ground once knew so well, watching as the black misty smoke surged again and the seal gods opened their hollow eyes once more. Welcome, welcome, my long-lost rival. Among the ants,
See there? Everybody's an ant to him.
among the ants struggling in the mortal world, you could be considered a king. On the day you left the dueling ground, did you ever imagine this day would come? What a shame. I once had high hopes for you. You should have done better. Has your vision for the realm of Tokoyo not yet been realized? It seems you really missed me. Your severed head, your gouged out eye. Which moment is more unforgettable for you?
So I thought his eyes were just gold. That really gouged out.
No matter, I still have countless cycles of 6 days and 6 nights to spend with you. Every time, I will kill you, just like the first time. The gods have endless time to waste. Why do you think endless repetition will make me afraid? Is it because you feel fear yourself, Hadama Masakado?
Okay, why you just didn't fix your eyes if you all of that then?
This life you've lived, even by human standards, isn't very long. Short-lived madman, tyrannical king. These are the titles you're about to be remembered by for generations. No one will ever know what you're doing here. How pitiful. Taruna Masakado. I almost feel sorry for you. You're wrong, Akuninus. I enjoy battle. I enjoy victory. But this isn't torment, nor is it sorrow.
You into some BDSM, like you just in it for the freaking game, like man, you love pain.
Massacring the weak in madness only brings me pain, not the slightest pleasure. Isn't that the hell you tailored just for me? There's no point in fighting them, but it's different when I fight you. So, I hope you've made some progress over these years as well. Don't let me lose interest too quickly. Let's wait and see.
Oh no, this just turned into
As the last shadow clone of Tadano Masakado is defeated, the massive illusion of the dual arena shrouding Hume Kyo vanishes into mystery. The minds of those previously affected by the malice in the duel arena gradually recovered their minds. Meanwhile, Taira no Masakado, who has arrived above Hankyo, is no longer silent. Unexpectedly, you've actually made it this far. At this point, you must have realized the weakness and arrogance this body once possessed. The shackles he shattered, he bound again with his own hands. The bounds he released, he once more imposed upon the world. When I arrive, all obstacles shall bow before me. What arrogant words! His madness and defiance have always been there. I merely added fuel to the fire, letting it burn even fiercer. Such a grand wish, let me fulfill it for him now. With Tsunomitama tracing long arc and sunlight like flames burst forth, sending a rain of fire down to the earth. The moment it touched the ground, a sea of fire spread wide. As if in response, a flurry of frost and snow suddenly rode the wind, surging toward Taira no Masakado. Flower of ice and blaze clashed, and the lion formed from flames let out a thunderous roar. I won't let you get away with this. Suddenly, an amulet inscribed with a pentagram flew alongside the celestial arrow, and Ghost Ornery drew his blade with a clang to the melody of Onmyoji. Everyone who had been scattered across Hansfield gathered together once again. The formation has been raided. Now we can focus our strength and attack Taira no Masakado's true form. On these old belongings of Taira no Masakado, not only are his memories attached, but also a portion of his remaining power. These powers are also connected to his true form. I wonder if there's a way to use them. Yuki goes and carefully examined the treasures of Taira no Masakado that everyone brought back, wondering for a moment. The embodiment of the Book of Dark Onmyoji spells brought Taira no Masakado's broken body back to the Yamatai duel arena, attempting to use it to break the seal that his 6 shadow incarnations placed on Okuninishi. Taira no Masakado's soul gathered these 6 shadow incarnations. Can y'all just say he soul gathered these 6 shadow incarnations? Dang, do we have to keep saying Taira no Masakado? Good gracious. Taira no Masakado soul gathered these 6 shadow incarnations together again and used them to fight until that part of his soul was exhausted and could no longer control his own will. Oh my goodness, next line is Taira no Masakado. However, since Taira no Masakado's 6 shadow incarnations exist by relying on his 6 old belongings and the memories attached to them, we get it, y'all love the number 6. This means that among these 6 incarnations, there may still be remnants of his consciousness.
Can we use the treasures to awaken the Taira no Masakado of the past?
It's worth a try. I can use these 6 old items to form a formation and establish a connection with the true form of Taira no Masakado, now controlled by Kuninishi in the sky. As long as his own will takes control again, there's a chance he could regain his sanity. Although it's hard to say what Taira no Masakado would do once he regains his sanity. I thought, when we gonna get him? Cause he handsome. When we gonna get him as a character? That's what I'm waiting on. But one thing is certain, it won't get any worse than it is now. This statement really doesn't inspire any enthusiasm at all. Taira no Masakado himself isn't an unreasonable person. This time our interests align, so we can temporarily trust his rational side. In that case, please form the array, and we will protect you. Yukiko then used 6 old belongings of Taira no Masakado as the circle center to set up a formation targeting Taira no Masakado's true form in the sky. For a moment, shattered fragments and words from his memories echoed once more within the formation, and the figures of Taira no Masakado from different eras flickered in and out of the magic circle. Even my freaking voice tired of people saying this long title. The young general who set out for peace returned with the mad stained with blood depths. And now his face completely changed. He was reassembled by the usurper god, once again looming over Heian-kyo. Petty tricks. Ugh! Taira no Masakado in the air suddenly pressed his forehead tightly. At the same time, the colossus behind him seemed to lose its control, its movements growing increasingly violent. Did it work? Ah! Awaken, Taira no Masakado. Now, in the midst of darkness, Taira no Masakado slowly opened his eyes. The darkness receded as his vision returned. This was a place he knew all too well. This is Yamatai's duel arena. That's right. I've overcome countless hardships and obstacles, and I've slain the king of Yamatai. Now, above Yamatai, only the usurper god remains, high beyond the heavens, the source of all tragedy. I will face it in a battle to the death. Above the sky, the usurper god's eyes are the sun and moon of this place. The sun and moon gaze down, but show no mercy. But those eyes, why? Could it really be myself? Glad that's over. We just got 2 chapters after this when it unlocks. Ooh, I'm tired of reading. The dark mist had dissipated. The owner of the eyes in the sky descended to the ground. This arrogant foe bore a face indistinguishable from the most. It's been a long time. Inside the doorway, suddenly emerged. Scenes from the past once unfolded here now spun around them like a revolving Little Masakado at his youth. Little Masakado at youth. Little Masakado at the king. Those images flashed in flash. Little Masakado remembered everything. He had come step by step to this stage. All of this was because of me. It was really how the future, or rather, reality, will ultimately be found. You are living the most glorious moment of your life. Thinking you are about to save you. How cruel it is that you must face what has already been decided. Don't make that face. Now, we're just one step away from your original goal. Our purposes, pursuits, and aspirations are all aligned, after all. I need carefully just a minor setback. If we join forces, we'll soon see everything right. What lies before you now is not a fight to the death, but a chance to start anew. This time, we can surely reveal the realm of Takoma. Is he telling the truth? Such a question inevitably arose inside of Masakado. Now, he knew this was nothing but a dreamscape within his mind. Just like countless days and nights before, he must battle his other self. Masakado stood at the pinnacle of his heroic tale, yet before him lay only. He had to admit, he too had weakness. The future he wove for his followers was but a fleeting illusion, and the sole path he designed for them was far from flawless. What are you still hesitating for? Victory is what we both desire. You've seen it yourself, how fragile ideals can be. Your family, your friends, they may doubt you, turn away from you. Your allies could betray you at any moment. Only the lands under the Taira banner and the head that still at your feet are worthy. Have you forgotten the feeling of being in the heat of battle, as if your blood was ablaze? Nothing in the world can surpass that sensation. Don't you yearn for it? Don't you miss it? Can you truly let go? Exactly. That's why he descended step by step into the abyss. Victory bolstered his confidence, but it also made him increasingly anxious. When victory became the ultimate need above all else, his original principles began to fade. He no longer mourned those who willingly gave their lives, for he himself was ready to abandon everything for his goal, even his own life. And when power reached its peak, the ruler's ideas became distorted. Who? Everyone was nothing more than a pawn on the chessboard. All he wanted was to win. I must let go. But Masakado raised his head and met the gaze of his other self. The realm of Tokoyo I desire is a land without distinction of rank, a place that shelters all the weak, where everyone can live in peace and freedom. This wish does not belong to me alone, but to all who believe in this future. And now, who is left to believe in a future that is brought only war and death? Once again, he gripped the blade of Onmyoji, the wounded's blood gushing forth, and the divine weapon of inscription spiritually. You're right, I still miss it. I still long for it. And that is the heart of the problem. The joy I found in conquest became my addiction, for the realm of Tokoyo doesn't need a leader like that. If not for that false god interference. Perhaps I could have restrained myself and become a wise ruler, but perhaps not, for such madness flows in my blood. But no matter what, the secret you exhibit now is not the one I desire. Thus, for my ideal realm of Tokoyo, I will keep on fighting. The moment he pointed the film camera at the other side of the microphone, his opponent knew it was that move. The other Futsunami Kama clashed against the blaze of his great sword, breathing out with a sweet, resounding tone. How obtuse. Two figures, nearly identical yet fundamentally different, tangled in combat within the dueling arena. Their fight was for they both originated from the same swordsmanship, the same tactic, the same skill, and the same skill. You cannot defeat me. Haven't you tried before? There will be no winner in this challenge. A death match against oneself can never truly conclude. For the moment the opponent falls, so too shall the self meet its end. The formation is complete. But on the Masakado's soul should have awakened by now. Yet in the sky, Taira Masakado's colossus continues its indiscriminate assault on people. Outside the city, Otakeru's army is stepping closer to him. If the situation changes, they can launch an attack at any moment. We need to set the flames for him. Everyone, lend your spiritual power to the formation to aid the true Taira Masakado. Two suns, one black and one red, slowly rose above the arena. Under the eerie shadow of the sun, the battle raged on. Suddenly, the phantoms that had been flickering in the arena began to change. More spiritual power seemed to be poured in, transforming them from mere echoes of memory into physical forms.
Someday in the future, I'll stand by your side too.
My lord, what do you want to know? Young master, watch the blade closely. You must come back alive. One day, I will create an eternal paradise where there is no distinction between men. Oh, the Masakado is a... Y'all not gonna finish that? Whether their shackles of the mind or the body, I'll break them all. From that day, Yamatai would have only one side forever. They were the last ones who remembered Taira and Masakado's truth. With the support of his former companions and himself, Taira Masakado charged full time. Submit. There is no way you can defeat me. No matter how many people stand behind you, what difference does it make? You let them down and sacrifice them. This time will be wake up. When you face it, your only fate is to repeat the same mistake. Now for the final. How long has this battle been going on? Taira Masakado was gradually losing his secret. He had failed before, and again paid war. The Taira were utterly defeated. He let himself be beheaded by the maiden of the Minamoto, hoping to seal Onmyoji forever. Was this the kind of failure his father wanted him to experience? This time, can he win again? At that moment, Taira Masakado suddenly heard the cry of an infant, as if someone was calling out to him from the distant jungle. What's that? Ah, it's her. She really survived. Seeing from the past flashed before him once more. Under the dim candlelight in the camp, he had struggled many times. He made grave mistakes in his life, but in his final days, he also accomplished many things. Though it wasn't victory, it was still a path leading toward it. Besides, there are far more important things in this world than mere victory or defeat. Yes, you are me, and I am you. We are but two sides of the same coin. Standing at the peak of the path, atop Yamata, where the dueling arena in the sky no longer exists. My sister began her own destiny there. Those chaotic years and fragmented memories once witnessed by the very good had pieced together the rest of Himiko's life. She became the queen of the thought, a truly brave ruler. Himiko had her own unwavering resolve and courage, rejecting the so-called fate of the Taira clan that Taira no Masakado had tried to pass on to her. She cherished her people as her own children, bringing them happiness and bringing an end to strife. Until the shadow of conspiracy once again shrouded the land of Yamata. If he had still been there at that time, would the story have turned out differently? Perhaps he could have become a general under her command. He would have crushed all obstacles underfoot, leaving her path to the throne clear and unimpeded. But in the end, that was all that the bygone era boasted. Himiko sacrificed herself and became the law of time. With this, the last descendant of the Taira clan ceased to exist. This is all that remains of this once glorious clan. Forgotten, rewritten, but they were free. My ideals have indeed been carried on, and a new path has unfolded. So what? Taira no Masakado suddenly laughed. For a warrior, the only truly invincible enemy at the end is oneself. I should be proud of this, shouldn't I? This was a challenge I relish, one I would never grow weary of. Even if it takes a lifetime to complete this challenge, so be it. But this battle is never just between me and myself, or me and you. A true general and a true ruler should see not just victory and defeat, but also sacrifice and call. What a pity. I no longer have endless time to waste. Once again, he raised the Shinomikama high, but this time, the divine blade was not linked by its twin counterpart. It is. You're crazy. I never thought you'd resort to such cliches. I've lost count of how many people have said that to me. But what if I'm crazy? You, or rather, I, shouldn't be the one to understand this best. This Momitama pierced through Taira no Masakado's chest. Taira no Masakado's own death wish merged with Momitama's bloodthirsty evil. This was undoubtedly a lethal strike. The other Taira no Masakado let out a furious cry of pain. His figure twisted, cracked, and shattered, reverting to the form he had when first hung on the execution scalpel. I offered my own blood to consecrate the battle. It would be a crimson battle, adorned with golden swallowtails butterflies. But the legend is true. Those who will the Fusunomitame they will man or do. For the world is made shall be remembered by generations to come, whose glory and infamy will be two sides of the same coin. That's not so bad. Before him, the world faded into a blinding white, which was then condensed into a single point in the darkness. All fell silent and dark, his consciousness seemingly swallowed by cold iron. No matter what, he had finally won this battle. Meanwhile, in Vancouver, Taira no Masakado's Colossus is dissipating. That figure, vast enough to blot out the sky, was howling and crumbling within the formation. Cheers of joy echoed throughout here too. If we could defeat the Taira no Masakado once, we could surely defeat him again. A defeated foe is nothing to fear. The Fusunomitama, now a fighter master, spun through the air and quickly vanished from sight. His whereabouts unknown. The shattered colossus transformed into a flurry of swallowtail butterflies. The butterflies were initially deep black and crimson until a brilliant gold emerged, separated from the remains. This golden hue felt familiar to Yukiko. He had seen it before, at the city gate on that very day, deep within the black flame that Taira no Masakado entrusted to her for purification. He had witnessed that dazzling gold more than once. Yukiko was engaged with the butterfly whirling around him and reached out. A golden butterfly landed on her fingertip. Rest in peace, the hero of the Taira and the Senate. Outside the city, Otakura and his army, lying in wait, witnessed the collapse of the colossus and the scattering of swallowtail butterflies. Lord Taira no Masakado, all soldiers, heed my command. Follow me. The golden swallowtail butterfly flew towards them. One of the butterflies landed on the knuckle of Otakura's skeletal hand. Then he heard the true voice of his Lord, whom he hadn't seen. You. Leave now, Mama. All druggers have faded with time. There is no need to cling to the tattered Taira banner any longer. You fulfilled your duties and kept your promise to me. Like what Himiko did. It's time to go and pursue your own way now. For some reason, he felt his former lord was bidding him a final farewell. These words, like an incantation, once liberated the flames of Kamitai Masakado, and now freed Otakura and his soldiers returned from the underworld. Otakura could sense the lingering obsessions on them were slowly dissipating. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. The swallowtail butterflies eventually merged into a river shimmering with golden light, flowing toward an unknown destination in the horizon, as if summoned by something bigger. It's time to return to the Sunken River. Otaku's army receded like the tide, as if they had never been there. Then Kyo regained its peace once more. Only the sky remained a somber black. Time would be needed for the clouds to clear. Thanks to all of you, Hei and Kyo has once again escaped danger. However, there is still one thing that troubles me. Please go ahead, Master Select. This time, Hashio Dolman did not appear at all. Yet, as we know in history, he clearly played the role of manipulating everything behind the entire Genpei War. This time, Kado no Masakado's revival and attack on Nikkyo failed. Does Dolman have your backup plan? Well, you think this is the plan?
Of course not, because we haven't gotten that handsome Onmyoji yet. From the Fujiwara clan, I think.
I believe this question should be answered by someone who has truly crossed paths with the That's quite a pointed remark.
Yeah, we haven't gotten him yet. I mean, when we first saw Fujiwara Michinaga, you know, he wasn't moving. Now they have him animated. I feel like he's gonna be the next Onmyoji that we get in this game. Especially with how decked out they have him. I mean, they got his Kariginu looking better than the man.
But to be honest, I really know nothing about this either. This man has always been elusive, and the clues we have offer little insight into his current whereabouts. Perhaps we should take our time and plan carefully. Everyone, did you notice something? I don't know if it's just my imagination, but the sky seems even darker than before. Not only that, but the sky seems to be pressing down much slower, as if something is about to fall from above. Something is falling down. Are you saying? At that moment, the sky suddenly let out a terrifying roar. Pitch black, shadowy pillars descended from the sky, crashing down into the earth. In the distance, and nearby, and here. Watch out, everyone.
I ain't even bothered to translate that.
Hawk was also who was keeping watch in the courtyard. Father looked up just before the darkness completely swallowed him. This sentence, Master Sibyl.
What an artist.